What no one tells you is the power of a thank you note. Hi, I'm Brock Akil. I'm with IndieWire's Future of Filmmaking, and this is what no one tells you. I have what I think is the best, the best advice for any industry. I was working on the Sinbad show. Ralph Farquhar and Michael Whitehorn came to help rescue the show. What Ralph recognized is that a lot of the PAs and a lot of the they know what they were paying us. We were broke, and so he would give us an opportunity to audition for small roles. And so I auditioned. I got a role on the show, and it was the most money I had made in one fell swoop for like 1 day's of work, and it flipped me out. I think I made $800, and I was so excited. And so I called my girlfriend who lived in Chicago, who would make these custom-made cards. And I said, can I buy a box of your cards? And that was even profound for me because I always coveted them, but I could not afford them. And I spent some of my money buying her cards. And I wrote a thank you note to both Ralph and Michael. And what was interesting is that Ralph is very extroverted, so I had somewhat of a relationship with Ralph. I could talk to Ralph here and there. But Michael never had really, I never had any intersection with him in any kind of way. He kind of played the background. But then I gave him the thank you note early in the day, and now we're on set later shooting the show. And Michael was nearby, but then, you know, it's always awkward. Do you talk to the showrunner? Do you not talk to the showrunner? Like, I don't want to be that person. The executives are trying to talk to him. And we caught eyes, and then he came over and he said, I just want to thank you for the thank you note. And I started laughing. I was like, you're thanking me for my thank you note? And he said, yes. He goes, I think it might be the first one I've ever gotten from a crew person. And I was like, what? I was like, are you kidding me? He goes, yeah. He goes, people don't take the time out to write them. And he goes, and it was so cool, the card. It didn't look like a regular Hallmark card. I was like, yeah, and I got to tell him about my friend, and I started talking about my friend, and she did this, and it led to my ability to tell him I'm from Chicago. We found a connection in Chicago. We found a connection at Northwestern. I think I impressed him. It was just sort of like, wow, this huge moment with Michael Whitehorn because of a thank you note. One, you just acknowledge that someone did something kind for you. That is energy that we need to be talking about all the time. It's a ripple effect. Then it allows him to see me. I'm now being seen, and so I'm the same person that also was going above and beyond, being on time, leaning in. Now you get to see my character, and then Michael and Ralph were only at the Sinbad show for a short time because they were going to go do a show called South Central. And I had seen the pilot, and I flipped because I thought that was my style of writing that we now call dramedy. We were not using that term back then, but I wanted to be on that show. And from that moment on, I advocated to be on that show, and I believe my thank you note allowed me a real first step in for them to get to know me, to say yes to me becoming the writer's trainee on South Central. It has been a lifelong well for me that I draw from all the time. It's interesting in finding your voice. Sometimes it's met with resistance, and then you realize, oh, well, that's me. I remember working on Moesha. I am from staff writer on. I was a big pitcher. I was always pitching ideas. And I remember I was pitching that Moesha and Kim needed to have their first fight. And I was like, she should call her a bitch. And they were like, Mara, we're not doing that show. You can stop pitching that story. I was like, and I kept going. And I remember Ralph, what I love about him, he was like, okay, Mara, how about you save that for your pilot? So a lot of my pitches is save for your pilot. And I was like, you know what? I am going to save it for my pilot. And I literally would take some of the ideas that I felt passionate about for their project and thought about what they would be for mine. And that's how Girlfriends, over time, really, the development of that voice is in Girlfriends, which is my first pilot. And so I actually did take my mentor's advice. I saved all of the stuff that I thought was amazing for my pilot. I think that's what I hope people do. Don't feel rejected, feel redirected.